One of the first real jobs I ever had was door-to-door sales. The pay was strictly commission-based, meaning I could work 60 hours a week and end up making nothing, not a single dime. Fortunately, the training provided was excellent, and one particular concept stuck with me to this day. A concept so powerful that it has brought me massive success in all areas of my life: the law of averages. To understand this law and how it applies to you, let me paint a picture of what my job entailed. I sold telecommunication services, TV, internet, and home phone. My days were spent knocking on doors, searching for potential buyers. Throughout the day, I encountered three types of customers. The first group was the most common: hard-nosed consumers who were loyal to their current provider, had no complaints, and didn't want to hear a sales pitch. These were the types to slam the door in your face, or worse, chase you off their porch. Only the best salespeople could convince them, but even then, the success rate was extremely low. They made up about 80% of all consumers. The second group, making up about 10% of consumers, was indifferent. They weren't thrilled with their provider, but they weren't actively looking to switch either. They might have had a few minor complaints, but for the most part, they weren't interested in buying. However, they were at least willing to listen. The best salespeople could close a good number of these, while even moderately skilled ones could convert a few. But if you were new to the game, selling to them was still a challenge. Finally, there was the third group: easy consumers. These were rare, but they were the golden ticket. They were already frustrated with their provider and had considered switching but never got around to it. If a salesperson found them, they were practically a guaranteed sale. All you had to do was not mess up the paperwork. The law of averages states that the likelihood of certain events evens out over time if you increase the frequency. This meant that if I spent an entire day encountering only tough customers, I didn't need to get discouraged, because if I kept knocking, I would eventually find an easy sale. And more often than not, that's exactly what happened. I remember one particular day very vividly. I had just finished training and was finally out in the field alone. I was working in a massive apartment complex, 15 floors, over 300 doors. I spent 10 hours knocking, getting rejected left and right. At one point, I thought, this law of averages is nonsense. It's all about territory, pricing, and even the weather. Determined to prove my trainers wrong, I kept going, knocking on every last door. Then, when I reached the final 3 doors in the entire building, guess what? All 3 were easy customers, back to back. They were practically begging to switch providers. That day, I walked away in complete shock at the power of the law of averages. And over the years, I only became more convinced of its truth. Now, what does this have to do with you? Maybe you're not in sales, but no matter what your goal is, you're going to face a majority of hard rejections. You'll also encounter a few neutral opportunities that you might win over if you have enough skill. And once in a while, you'll come across an opportunity that's just waiting for you to show up. Whether it's dating, job hunting, or gaining recognition for creative work, most people will reject you. But the more you take action, the more rejections you face, the closer you get to finding those who are genuinely excited to work with you. If you want a girlfriend, you need to approach more women. If you want a better job, apply to more places. If you want recognition for your creative work, keep creating. Don't be discouraged by early failures. That's how the game works. You're supposed to get rejected. Life is a numbers game, and the odds are never in your favor. But if you keep playing, you'll eventually win. And that, my friend, is the law of averages.